This is section 2.1 over rational numbers. And a rational number is a number that can be written as a ratio of two integers. So if you look at the definition down here underneath the key idea, we've got basically a rational number is anything that can be written as a fraction. And remember how we talked about in last chapter that when you're doing a division problem, which is what a fraction is, by the way, it's just a miniature division problem, the second number cannot be 0. So we cannot have the denominator of our fraction be 0, ever. So a rational number is anything that can be written as a fraction. So you look over here in this yellow box over here, we've got whole numbers and integers, which can be written as fractions. We've got, obviously, just putting them over 1 is how you would write them as a fraction. So if I wanted to write -2 as a fraction, I put -2 over 1. And -2 divided by 1 is just -2. So that equals -2, which is why we can just go ahead and write that as a fraction. And then we've got mixed numbers that can be written as fractions, like 3 1/2. We've got decimals that can be written as fractions. So 0.8 is the fraction 4/5. So this is just 5 4/5. And you can write mixed numbers as fractions, improper fractions. And then any decimal that has a repeating bar can be written as fractions. So those decimals that end, like 5.8, are called terminating decimals. So we have terminating decimals like 1.5, which is the same as 1 1/2, and that can be written as a fraction. -0.25, which is the same as -1/4. Remember, quarters, 0.25. And then 10.625, which is the same as 10 5/8. And those can be written as fractions. And then we have repeating decimals, which have the repeating bar over them. So any fraction that has a repeating bar over them, like these do, can be written as fractions. And you might be familiar with the fraction 1/3. The fraction 1/3 as a decimal is actually 0.3 repeating. So any decimal that repeats can be written as a fraction as well. So most of the numbers you've ever worked with in your life are rational numbers. We've got the whole numbers, we've got the integers that we've talked about this year, and fractions and decimals. Decimals that repeat or decimals that terminate can be written as fractions. The only kind of decimal that cannot be written as a fraction is what we call an irrational number. And the king of all irrational numbers, the most famous irrational number, is pi. Pi is a number that is a decimal. It goes on forever, but there's no pattern to it. There's no repeating bar. So those are the kind of numbers that we cannot write as fractions, and those are called irrational numbers, the opposite of rational. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write fractions as decimals. And to convert a fraction to a decimal, we do top divided by bottom. So we write it as a division problem. Now, a common mistake when you do top divided by bottom is writing the largest number inside, like 8 divided by 3, but that's actually incorrect. You don't want to write the bottom number inside. You don't want to write just the largest number. You always want to put the top number inside. So we actually want to write 3 divided by 8. And that probably looks a little weird because we have the larger number on the outside, but that's fine. We want the larger number to be on the outside here, because we're going to turn it into a decimal. So 8 cannot go into 3. We put a decimal point, put one above, drop down a 0. 8 can go into 33 times. 8 times 3 is 24. Subtract. Drop down an extra 0. 8 goes into 67 times. 8 times 7 is 56. Subtract. Drop down your 4. Or drop down a 0 here next to the 4. And 8 times 5 is 40. So we get the decimal 0.375. Now this 0 is optional. Just need to make sure you have your decimal point. 0.375 is the decimal version of 3/8. Now, -2 1/4. Anytime you have a whole number like this written out in front of your fraction, that part of it is just going to go in front of our decimal. So if it's in front of the fraction, it's going to go in front of the decimal. So -2 just gets rewritten. And what we need to figure out is what 1/4 is as a decimal, which you may remember that 1/4 is actually 0.25. And if you don't remember that, like quarters, obviously 1/4 of a dollar, If you don't remember that, just go ahead and do the long division. 1 divided by 4. 4 does not go into 1, but it will go into 10 2 times. Subtract, drop down a 0, and 4 goes into 20 5 times. So there's your 0.25. So don't forget about the -2 part. That part just gets written in front of the decimal. We only have to worry about the 1/4, writing it as a decimal. The next one is -6/5, and if it's a negative fraction, it's going to make a negative decimal. So just need to copy down that negative sign. And then top number divided by bottom number. Now this time the top number is bigger, and that's because we have an improper fraction here. And an improper fraction is going to give us an answer that's larger than 1. So it makes sense that 5 actually does go into 6 one time. And again, we're just putting that top number in the house. So you add a 0, or add a decimal point and then a 0, drop down your 0, and 5 goes into 10 twice. So we get -1.2. All right, next one, 5/11. Again, top number divided by bottom number. 11 cannot go into 5, so we're going to add a decimal point and a 0, and 11 goes into 50 4 times, which is 44. And drop down a 0, and it goes into 65 times, which is 55. Subtract, and we get 5. Drop down a 0, and it goes into 54 times, which is 44. And you can probably see the pattern here. Drop down a 0, and it goes into 65 times. And what's happening is our decimal is just repeating. So for this one, we want to write 0.45, but put a repeating bar over both the 4 and the 5, because you'll notice they're both repeating. The 4 and the 5 are repeating. It'll be another 45 as we go. So 5/11 is 0.45 repeating. All right, next example, 1 4/9. Again, the 1 is the whole number, so it can be written out in front. So 1, and then we just have to figure out what 4/9 is. So 4 top divided by 9 bottom. 9 does not go into 4, but it will go into 44 times. That's 36. Subtract, drop down a 0, another 0. 9 goes into 40. We just did that. It's 4 again, and you can see it's just going to keep repeating. So I've got my decimal point, and my 4 repeats. So 1.4 repeating. Don't forget the 1 just gets brought over. And then example F, you probably remembered that 1/2 was 0.5, but if you didn't, 1 divided by 2 gives you 0.5. Don't forget that it's negative, so negative 0.5. All right, the next part is writing decimals as fractions. This part is a little bit easier. So to write a decimal as a fraction, write the number over its place value. And then, as with all fractions, we have to reduce. So write the number over its place value and then reduce. So let's look at example A here. First of all, you'll note that it is negative. So we want to make sure that if we have a negative decimal, we get a negative fraction. And you write the number 26 over its place value, which the second decimal column is the hundredths column. So we have the tenths column and then the hundredths column. So we're going to put this over 100. In fact, if you said this fraction or this decimal the long way, instead of saying negative 0.26, you'd say negative 26 hundredths, and that's exactly what you write. Because they're both even, remember we want to reduce everything. So I know that 2 goes in since they're both even. 13 times, 26 divided by 2 is 13, and 100 divided by 2 is 50. So my final answer is negative 13 fiftieths. Now, it doesn't matter if you put the negative up top or on bottom or in the middle. I put it up top, but I could also have written it in the middle or on the bottom. So if I draw your attention over here to this this green box over here, you can see that the negative can be put in the middle, can be put in the top, or can be put in the bottom, and all of those answers are all the same. And the reason for that is because, remember, every fraction is just a division problem, and it doesn't matter which number is negative in a division problem, your answer will be negative. So you can put the negative anywhere you want, just don't put 2 of them, because 2 negatives would make a positive. So you can put that negative right there or in the middle, or you can even put it next to the 50. The next one is also negative, so we're going to put a negative, and then the first decimal column is tenths, so -7/10, and that does not reduce. So we're done with example B. See, these are much easier than actually doing the long division if you go from fraction to decimal. Next one here, we've got a 5 written in front of the decimal, so that's going to be our whole number. And then I write 125 over tenths, hundredths, thousandths. It's the thousandths column. And then I can reduce that by 5, or I can even reduce it by 25. If you think of quarters, there are 5 quarters in $1.25, and there are 40 quarters in $10. And I know that because there's 4 quarters in $1 times 10 there. And even those numbers can reduce. 5 goes into 5 once, 5 goes into 48 times. So altogether we get 5 and 1/8. And maybe you remembered that 1/8 is the same as 0.125. For the next one, we've got -10, so I'm going to make that my whole number. That's my whole number. And then I only have to worry about the decimal part. And 0.25, remember, is 1/4. And if you don't remember that, start by putting 25 over its place value and reducing. But you get -10 and 1/4. -3.1, start with the -3, put it as your whole number. And then the 1/10 would be your fraction part. And then example F here, we've got 2 and 8 tenths. Remember, it's in the tenths column again. And 8 tenths can be reduced by 2 to 4/5. So 2 and 4/5. And the last thing we'll talk about is how to order rational numbers. How do I order fractions and decimals from least to greatest? And the first thing you're going to want to do is convert all of your fractions to decimals. If you tried to compare a bunch of fractions, you'd have to find a common denominator for all of them, and it's much easier just to convert all your fractions to decimals. And then, of course, start with your negatives, because they're going to be the smallest. So this example says the table shows the elevations for 4 sea creatures. Which of the sea creatures are deeper than the whale? So the whale is here at -0.8. So I need to see which of them is deeper than that. So to do that, I have to convert all of them into decimals. So -13 tenths, I'm going to do 13 divided by 10. 10 goes in 1 time. Subtract, put a decimal point, drop down a 0. 10 goes into 30 3 times. So the anglerfish is -1.3. The squid is -2 1/5. So -2 and then 1 divided by 5. Maybe you remembered that 1/5 what it is, but it's 0.2. So -2.2. -2.2. And then there's the shark. And the shark is, squeeze it up here, 2 divided by 11. That's negative. 11 doesn't go into 2, but it goes into 20 one time, and that's 11. And you subtract, you get 9. And drop down a 0. So 0.1 there. And 11 goes into 98 times, and that's 88. And I subtract, and I get 2, and I drop down a 0. And this looks familiar. We said it went in 1 time, and that was 11. And it's just going to keep repeating the 1 and the 8. So this is going to be -0.18, and the whole thing is repeating. And I need to know which of these is deeper than the whale. And the anglerfish, well, that's more negative than what the whale is. So that's going to be deeper. The squid, that one's deeper. And then the shark, now the shark is -0.18. So again, you're just looking 1 decimal place at a time. The 1 is smaller than the 8. Or I guess another way to look at it is if you make this 0.80, make it have another 0 there, you can see that 0.18 is smaller than 0.80. Again, you only have to look at the first decimal place, the 1 versus the 8 right there. And because this is smaller, that means the whale is actually deeper than the shark. So the shark is not deeper than the whale. A good way to think about that is, sometimes you can see whales on top of the water, but you can always see sharks. Those sharks will always swim closer to the top because you see their fins sticking out when they're hunting. So a good way to think about that. So the shark is not deeper, but the anglerfish and the squid both are for this problem.